Hello and welcome to the Nerd for No Reason podcast. I hope you're ready to talk the worst baby names ever. I'm Raven.
Oh, I guess I probably should have came up with like a really dumb name to say. That'll be next week. I'll come up with some dumbass name to say next week. What's up, everybody? I'm Mark, and we're not talking about Puffy this week. We're not talking about Nicki Minaj. We're not talking about potential Switch 2 leaks. We ain't talking about none of that because I watched probably one of the wildest movies I've seen this year so far, and that's saying a lot, in the form of Twilight. But we'll get into that in a minute. Raven, how was your week?
It was good. Yeah, it was good. It was busy. Every day I went to bed and was like, man, I don't want to do this again the next day. But dude, I'd get to bed way later than normal. I wouldn't sleep. It's been one of those weeks where I'm just like, everything's fine, but the dog is sitting at the table and the house is on fire. That's me.
Yeah.
That's life, though. What about you, ma'am?
Kind of the same, man. Just, I feel like I go to work and then next thing I know, I'm like, oh snap, I'm back at work. And then, oh snap, I'm back at work. And then it's like, oh snap, it's the weekend. I should do something productive. Damn, it's Monday morning. So, yeah.
What about me? What about my life? That's how it feels right now. Where's my everything I need to do or want to do? What if I just want to take a nap and I don't want a dog to bark at me every time I'm right about to fall asleep? And then Kavik is like, I'm like, bro, please stop. I'm going to wrestle you to the ground and fight you and turn him into a vampire. Anyways.
I swear Roscoe is that little turd. He wakes up every morning at 4 a.m. and is like, hey, I got to go outside. And it's a 50-50 shot as to whether or not if I'm going to start barking at something in the yard or not. So, just get ready. I hate that dog so much. I'm just like, dude, and it don't matter if I let him out, I will let him stay out until midnight and let him back in. He wakes up, he wants to go out every morning before my alarm goes off.
Man, that internal clock.
And I'm just like, dude. Ugh. So yeah, that's what's up. Not really a whole lot, man. Today me and Amy worked on a school project where we had to make an old timey phone for her for a school report she has to do. So, a bunch of cardboard tubes later and some super glue, and we did it.
Whoa.
And by old timey phone, I mean 1920s phone and not a 1980s phone.
I was thinking of what you were putting down. What you were spitting. Straight spit.
Yeah.
Sorry. Fred Durst is on the mind all the time.
Yeah. So. Well. All right.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Oh, boy, I'm so ready.
Well, let's break down Breaking Dawn Part 1. Mark, what'd you think about this movie for your first viewing pleasure?
Man, this is the first time I saw this movie, and man, I don't know what to make of this movie. Because, again, like I feel every time, I am not the target audience for this film. Because this movie is, this isn't a vampire movie. This is a romance movie.
Yeah.
Out of all of the other movies that have, vampire action and all this other stuff, this one is very scarce of that. Because literally, out of this 2-hour movie, the first hour of it, hour and a half, hour 15 maybe, is romance stuff. Is Bella getting married, and then they go to this island, and then, they're doing all this cool romance stuff, and cool romance. It's not cool romance. It's a soap opera.
Look at all this cool romance for the young teens.
Right. Yeah. Hello, fellow kids. So, but it's just so schlocky and kind of like teeny soap opera, and it's just kind of, but the wolf stuff is cool. And then like the second half, like once we get back to Forks and we're trying to figure out like all the pregnancy issues and stuff like that, like it starts to kind of pick up, and I'm like, all right, I found myself inexplicably kind of like drug into this thing. And I'm more ready for part 2 based on like the last 30 minutes of this movie. So, Raven, what did you think of Breaking Dawn Part 1?
We're breaking dawn. That's what I thought you were going to do. But, this movie holds, of course, a special place in my heart as someone that saw this movie on, like, premiere night. I think it was just, I'm trying to remember if this one was with just my mom, or if it was, like, my mom and, like, 2 other women. But, yeah, I still really enjoy watching this movie. Of course, it's like, of course, the beginning scenes where they're doing the whole wedding, I'm like, God, this is so beautiful. Like, I'm sure, let me see, this one came out in 2011. I think I was in high school then. Yeah. So I definitely was like, whoa, beautiful wedding. This is what I want. And I still look at it and I'm like, dude, that wedding's bomb and I would love to have that. Thank you very much. The set designs of this movie,
the
beautiful.
Set design was really good.
Also, this is literally the movie where everyone has the best fucking hair ever.
Yes.
Period. But, yeah. I still enjoy watching this movie because, I'm basically just a teenage girl at heart, I guess. That's what it's coming down to. So you want to...
Yeah.
Break
boy,
this down?
I have so many questions about this. Did Charlie not know they were getting married? This is the first question I have right from the get-go. Like, the movie opens up and Jacob's all mad. He wolfs out, and I'm like, okay, fine. But then, like, we cut to Charlie sitting at his kitchen table with the invite in hand, looking off into the distance like, I guess I saw it coming, but what the hell? Yeah. I'm like, right. What?
Yeah, what?
I was going to say, didn't Edward say the last movie, like, hey, I want to be traditional about this and talk to your dad and do all this?
Well, like, maybe he did, but, you still get that, like, wedding invite, essentially. Because, of course, Bella's going to be like, here you go, Dad. And he's just going to be like, how am I supposed to look at this? You're literally 18. Like, right. I feel like it could be either way that he's like, either way, he's still in shock of like, what is happening here? But yeah, no. That first, like, scene of seeing everyone, like, get their wedding invites. Meanwhile, Bella's mom is like, oh, thank God it's finally happening. And you're like, what?
Right.
Like, she seemed the most excited. Aside from Alice.
Yes. Who's still my favorite.
Dude. Oh, her pixie cut, she looks so cute in this movie.
Man, she is one of the few people I can think of that can actually pull that off. Yeah.
So true. Yeah. When Edward starts telling Bella his, like, basic backstory of why he's like, I don't want you to resent me. And she's like, Edward, a year from now, I hope to be like you. And he's like, it took me longer than that, dog. But anyways, he basically had the most, like, Dexter Morgan-ass backstory. And I was just like, all right, we're going with this. This is fun.
Yeah.
But then, the boys come over and they're like, give us the man. It's bachelor party time. And she's like, so this party, will there be strippers? That part, dude, I laughed so hard at that because it just the way that she went through with it was so fucking funny.
I liked I like when we get Charlie in the Cullens house and he's immediately suspicious of all the graduation caps on the wall.
How did nobody say anything when they had their graduation party? Like nobody was like,
I didn't even think of that until right now. You are absolutely right.
Yeah, because nobody had ever been in their house. And so I love that Charlie's like, hey, this is kind of weird. But Renee is just like, this is fun. I like this.
Right. It's cool. Chill out, you old fuddy-duddy. Yo,
but Charlie and that tux, that man was looking.
Listen. I had a little moment where I thought to myself, because I don't really dress up that often, I was like, one of these days, hopefully many, many years down the road, I get to dress up in a tux and marry my daughters. And I can't wait for the moment when the kids see me in a tux and be like, who is this person?
Bro, this isn't the same frumpy guy I've been looking at hanging out on the couch.
Right. What do you mean he's not wearing a black t-shirt?
He's not wearing a flannel with a gun strapped to his back because he's going hunting? Crazy.
I like that we got to meet other vegan vampires. That was fun.
From Alaska.
Right. Our cousins from Alaska.
Ooh, that one chick, though. Laurence. R.I.P.
Oh, yeah.
But, homegirl was not feeling it. She's like, they invited one of them dogs. But it's like, Seth is the sweetest, little best one of them all. Don't be mad at him. He's such a good boy. He's such a good boy.
You can't say that to them. That's offensive. But no, it is kind of like Seth is. He's clearly like the one who's like, listen, man, I don't care about all that. Like, you're cool. Like, I'm sure he seems very much to be the kind of person who'd be like, yo, you are hot. We should go out on a date. I don't care if you're a vampire. Like, let's go have fun.
Yeah, he seems like a sweet little thing. Can I tell you that actor's name?
Yes, please.
Boo Boo Stewart. That's what he goes by.
Oh, he's in the... Holy shit, he's in the Descendant movies.
He is, yeah.
I didn't even recognize him.
He's in quite a few big things, actually. Like, Chris was like, what the heck? Because I was like, here you go. Here's this fun little thing. And him and Taylor Lautner were the exact same age while they were filming this. And doesn't that look insane to think about? That Taylor Lautner literally looks like so old, or like so much older, because of the fact that he's like jacked.
Yeah.
Holy crap, is just like a regular kid.
Yeah, I'm looking at a picture of him now, and I'm like, I didn't even clock him. Because in the Descendants movies, like he looks a little bit bigger, his hair's longer. Yeah, oh crap. Wow, that's hilarious.
Yeah. All right, so
hold on, I have one more question.
Go for it. Yeah.
What is the timeline from graduation to the wedding? Because it seems very short.
Dude, it absolutely is, because she's like, they get married in like August, so they literally graduated, and it took like 2.5 months, something like that. Yeah. Like this timeline, no wonder Charlie's like, what the hell? But that whole beginning scene really did feel like so fast of how it all was like supposed to go down. Like, I'm sure they sent out those invites, you know, with a decent amount of time in advance, but it literally felt like, hey, it's week of, we're getting married.
Right.
But that was, yeah, Chris and I were definitely like, this is interesting to watch here. Also, did they put a fucking dress code for this wedding? Because literally everyone is in like gray and purple. Like the whole weddings
Pacific
look
Northwest.
so
It has to be.
cohesive. I was like, what's up? You can do whatever you want to. Unless, you know, everyone's wearing whites and there's red rose petals falling all over you. And then you kill all your friends and family.
Yeah, because you have literal blood on your hands.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Symbolism.
But can we talk about this long-ass kiss that they do in front of the entirety of, like, their friends and family?
It's so romantic, Raven.
As an 18-year-old, I would have died. I would have been like, here, you can have the quickest little peck. But the two of them are like, this is it. There's nothing else. It's just us. It made me want to cringe. I'm not a big PDA, like, not a big person to be like, yo, PDA, let's get it. But that, I think if I had been at a wedding where someone that's 18 kissed for that long, I would have been like, I gotta leave. This is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But maybe that's just me. Who knows?
Well, I don't know. They were in love. What you gonna do?
Not be weird in front of people.
Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go be weird at the reception speeches is what we're gonna go do.
With Emmett having the best speech ever.
Oh, yeah.
You've been sleeping for the last 18 years. Hope you're rested up, because you're not going to be sleeping for a while.
Right. And then follow that up with Anna Kendrick going, everyone all had a crush on Edward, but he fell for Bella, who basically wasn't good enough because she's a bitch, and she didn't do nothing, and, you know.
Dude. Anna Kendrick was going hard on that shit.
She was.
She was like, you weren't president of the class or captain of the volleyball team, which cracks me up the most because, like, Bella didn't play volleyball. Let's be real. She wasn't going to do shit. Edward's speech, though, so endearing.
Right.
But then he's like, I've waited what feels like a very long time for you. And everyone's like, you're 18, dog. And then their, like, whole family is like, yeah, he's waited quite a century.
We get the joke. Ha ha ha
ha. When Edward goes, another one of your guests just arrived, to be like, oh, here's Jacob. Chris was like, he has a boner. And I was like, because they're just dancing. And Chris just goes, he has a boner. That's the joke. His guest just arrived, or her guest just arrived. I was like, bro. Anyways. But it was sweet to see Jacob until he's like, yo, if you guys have sex, he's gonna destroy you. He's gonna.
Which is such a weird thing to say to somebody.
On their wedding night. Like,
right.
He's literally going to. You're gonna kill her. And everyone's just like, yo, dude, chill.
Like I was so on board with that scene for like the first 2 minutes, and then I was like, damn, like right. Jacob's still kind of a bitch, and especially because Edward kind of was like, yo, show up, she wants to see you, you don't have to be here for the whole thing, just show up during the reception, you know, I'll give you two like your own little moment. Like, Edward did kind of a homie hookup there, and Jacob just kind of turned out to be kind of an ass. And that was kind of heartbreaking, because I like Jacob.
Yeah. I love Jacob. He's just a little baby.
And then when they drive off, Jacob, you hear the sad Jacob wolf howl. Just so you hear it. And I'm like, no!
Like, it's like So funny. Like, really. It's like, bro, you poor thing. You really out there. She knows that it's you, motherfucker. Don't even try.
Right.
I'm really surprised that, like, Edward is kind of the only person that knows where they're going for their honeymoon. Obviously, Carlisle does. But poor Charlie. That man's over there like, so he's not gonna tell you? What about your safety? Like, gritting through his teeth.
Well, I want you to know, I find it funny. I find it funny that we've planned Fast and Furious and these sets of movies because I feel like we are at the crossover event of the century. Because where did they go? Brazil! That's right. In the background, Dom and the gang are sitting there dragging that bank safe all the way through Rio de Janeiro's while Bella and Edward are getting married and dancing in the streets.
Bro.
That's right.
That
and you cannot tell me otherwise.
Morning. Ah, that's so good. Because I didn't make a joke at that point. I made a joke later on and did like a family bit when Edward's like, "You're not gonna hurt my family."
I don't even remember that one.
It's after the baby was born, but I was just like,
"Oh, that's right, yeah."
Because I just look at Chris and I go, "Family." All right. If someone planned a honeymoon for you, didn't tell you anything, and brought you to Isle Esme, what would you do? Would you just be like, all right, perfect, whatever. You just made the perfect spot. We don't even have to leave. Like, why would you go anywhere else? That place looks so beautiful.
Oh, yeah, no, we wouldn't go anywhere else. That would be it.
We live here now.
It. Right. I'd be like, what, you own this island? Yes. Okay, cool. Like, you own this island, you named it after your wife. Why are we not here?
Dude, for real, why doesn't the whole family just, like, go live there? Because, like, all that's there are the two caretakers. Why not?
Right. And it's one of those things where they could get caretakers that they could be, like, I don't know, quote unquote familiars. And be like, cool, listen, you're responsible for here's what we are, here's what you are. You keep your mouth shut. Not only will you stay alive, but we will pay you a ludicrous amount of money. So, just keep your mouth shut. You're safe. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, and you can stay here. Like, it's cool. Enjoy the island, man. Live the life of luxury, and we'll pay you a handsome salary.
Yeah.
Like, and then they could just do whatever they want.
That would be the dream, honestly.
And this all leads back to, like, I want to know the vampire infrastructure. Because clearly there has to be one. I understand they have money, but that doesn't account for, hey, we need to travel at a certain time so no one knows what we're doing. So no one sees me in Brazil where it's sunshine most of the time in sparkling and all this, which again, if the sun is directly shining through this place that is 90% windows from the ocean and the cleaning people come in and Edward is not sparkling, what come on are we doing?
Yeah, where the fuck was my glitter? There was like a few little times where you would see little tiny like hints of it, but like there should have been more.
Yeah.
Breaking Dawn 1 makeup effects, do better.
Okay. Listen. I will say this: the makeup effects as a whole, especially once we get back to Forks, the makeup effects are fantastic.
That's where they put all their fucking money, I guess.
It
They
must
said
have
we
been.
don't have money for glitter. We just gotta do this crazy skeletonized Bella. Man. But yeah.
So, as I was watching them get to Isle Esme, I started thinking to myself about the TV show True Blood. Have you ever seen the show True Blood?
I am aware of True Blood, but I have never actually watched it.
Okay, like the first couple seasons are absolutely fantastic. And then it kind of lost its way towards the later seasons. But the part where, um, you know, uh, 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 oh, jeez, where Bella, jeez, wow. I literally blanked on Bella's name. Where
Who?
Bella is all like, oh, I want to get turned, I want to get turned, I want to get turned. And for all intents and purposes, like, we are to assume that she's a virgin. Okay? In True Blood, like, one of the kind of plot lines is they take a young teenager. I don't want to say young teenager. She's probably presumed to be like 18, 19, 20, something like that. And turn this girl. And at one point she loses her virginity in this TV show. And then she goes to have sex later on, and she realized, like, oh, hey, my body's healed and I'm still a virgin again. And yeah, and I was just like, oh, yeah, like, that could be very problematic. So, like, it's something I thought about a little bit, like, as I'm watching Edward apparently make passionate love and tears up the whole room. And, again, this is just schlocky soap opera stuff, as I even try to describe this nonsense.
The bed, the frame, the pillows.
Right.
And then the next morning she's like standing in the mirror, reliving it all, and he's like, I can't believe I fucking hurt you. I'm disgusted with myself. And she's like, bro, did you not just see how happy I was like 30 seconds ago?
Yeah, like, bro, you unlocked a kink. Let's go for
it. Right? I literally put that in my notes. I was like, hey, Edward, some people are into that, so, like, just do whatever. She's fine. She's kind of crazy. She into that. Whatever. There was also that one point where, while they're on their honeymoon, it flips back over to Jacob while they're at the beach and everyone's playing soccer and whatnot. And he's just like mad shit talking. It was like, I can't wait to kill Edward because she turned her. And Sam's over there like, the fuck you will. While you live under my roof, you follow my rules. And then Leah, she's of course really sad because she's like, well, if you imprinted on someone else, then you wouldn't think about Bella all the time. Meanwhile, she's over there just like looking at Sam and his girl, just like, that should be me. Cue Justin Bieber music. Anyways.
Yeah, it's kind of wild that we start getting into the imprinting of it all.
Oh man.
It's so wild that I'll get into it towards the end of our little wrap up here, because I have strong thoughts about the series as a whole that I've been saving, and I've been saving for this moment, right, for this movie in particular.
Perfect.
So, I will say, especially during the honeymoon scenes, that I feel like I could definitely tell that Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart were dating during this time, because their on-screen chemistry was fantastic. Like, there were scenes where they looked happy to be around each other, and that was really cool. Whereas, like, Bella, whenever she's acting opposite Jacob or anyone else for that matter, she genuinely looks like
I'm
she
in
does.
love.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
she kind of doesn't know what to do with herself.
fair. Yeah. Dude, I feel like Taylor Lautner did really good on, like, because, he was also supposed to be in love with Bella, and I feel like anytime he was there and not being a dick, it's almost like you could be like, yeah, maybe Taylor Lautner was in love with Kristen Stewart. Who knows?
Yeah.
But once it came time for her to start making that chicken, I was sitting over there, literally just like staring at Chris to be like, is he gonna understand?
Oh, here we go.
Here's the crazy shit. We eat the chicken, we start throwing up. Edward's like, although Edward comes into the house, looks at her through these little slats, and she's like, Edward, don't come in here. And I just looked over at Chris and was like, pretending to have like little like slits covering my eyes, and was like, yeah, I'm not gonna come in. I'm just gonna watch you from out here. Like, what? It doesn't matter. If you tell him not to come in, he's still just gonna stand there and watch you while you're throwing up
Right.
through these weird little slits. And then Homeboy straight up does not understand. Like, I don't know, it's just so funny that she's like, she opens the bag, you see the tampons, and she's like, oh fuck. And Edward the whole time is just like, so she's feeling a little sick? Like, what's happening here? Like,
Right.
no idea.
Well, now listen. Now listen. To be fair, okay? So presumably, all right, they got married. They got married. They've been on this island for 14 days because I was like, I typed how long has it been since the wedding? And like no sooner than I thought that they said it, like, oh, the wedding was 14 days ago, and she's like, I'm late. And I'm like, time out. So
they did the do on night 1, dog.
What's that?
They did the do on night 1. They had the sex, and now 13 days later, she's pregnant. Duh, that's how it works.
Yes, I know. So like again, if Edward was not like some dumb dude who doesn't understand like female anatomy in periods and things like that, which I would hope at 100 years old he would know. Like if he was legitimately 18 or 19 and didn't know, I'd be like, yeah, I could kind of understand, But he's genuinely old enough at this point to be like, yeah, I know. Especially because his dad's like, a doctor. But it's for her to be like, I'm late and it's only been 2 weeks and we've only had sex once or twice or however many times at this point. I get it where he's like, no, you're not.
He's like, huh?
No, that ain't my baby.
For real. Yo, where's Jacob been? Yeah.
Let me call Carlisle. We're gonna get that thing out of you. Hold on. What does he say? Yeah, I'm gonna get that thing. Get that thing out.
No, it's because Alice, she's like, Bella, are you okay? And she's like, what did you see? And she's like, I don't know.
And Edward's like doing his super speed to like every room to pack everything up. And when he said when he said we're gonna get that thing out, I literally wrote in my notes in all caps, Edward J. Cullen, how dare you, sir?
Bro, he was not feeling that shit. And honestly, the whole time, I think I was kind of, laughing during the scene, because he's literally like, we ain't doing this. And then the housekeeper comes in, she's like, she, sees, because Bella's over there holding her hands, she's 2 weeks pregnant, and she's like, yo, this thing be moving. And the housekeeper's like, I know what you did, you fucking freak monster. You over here ripping this poor girl to shreds. And now she's pregnant with your demon spawn. Get the fuck away from me. Ooh, yeah, that was kind of crazy. Also, this is the tannest that Bella looks in the whole movies. This girl has a straight tan.
Yes. Well, I mean, she's been laying in the sun.
Dude,
She's
she
been
was
laying in the sun.
from Arizona. And she came over and they were like, wow, you're like really pale. Apparently it only happens in, Rio de Janeiro. Or wherever the heck they were.
It's Brazil.
Ah.
This is so wild. And when they get back, okay, this is so great because like this is where the movie starts picking up for me. And to be fair, poor Bella at this point, like 2 weeks after she's first had sex, and now she's sitting there like holding her belly, non-existent belly, and
right?
she's like, "Oh, I feel it moving," and all this, and you're just like, "What in the actual world?" And then we get back to the house, and Jacob shows up.
Hold on.
What?
She calls Rosalie. Let's remember this. The one bitch that was like, I don't fucking like your life choices. You're throwing your shit away. You're never going to have a family. I wanted a family. I wanted to grow old. And she was like, yo, if there's someone that's about to be in my court, it's this bitch Rosalie. Rosalie's going to be my fucking representative of the baby. And I think that's crazy. Anyways, Jacob comes running in, as you were saying.
Yeah, Jacob comes running in and says what I think is one of the coldest, like wildest lines of this whole franchise, where he tells Bella, he's like, if you die, what was the point? And I said, what, sir? Jacob T. Collins, sir.
Oh, God. He said, you loved him, I loved you. What's the point?
And then we get the cool like alpha scene, which I was like, yo, this is dope.
So good. Okay. But when all the wolves I'm sorry, it literally like made me laugh so hard. Also, let's remember that it was 2 weeks that she had been home. So she is 4 weeks along, and that's how she's looking. She's looking very skeletonized when Jacob first sees her. But anyway,
true.
When he's running to go tell all the other like wolves to be like, yo, we're gonna fucking kill Edward. We're gonna fuck this baby up. All the wolves are going, Jake, 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 Jake. It cracked me up so bad. I laughed so hard as they're all like, yeah, Jacob, Jacob, Jacob. I'm sorry. There was no point. Like, it just kind of cracked me up that they're all over there like, ah, Jacob, Jacob, Jacob. Cracks me up. Anyways, yeah, Jake straight up said, fuck Sam. I ain't part of your fucking pack. You ain't shit. You ain't killing this bitch. I'm in love with her. I haven't imprinted on her, but it basically feels like I have. Thank you. Drops mic and leaves.
Yeah. I liked that scene. That was great. I am the grandson of Chief blah, 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 whatever he said.
On God.
Stood on business. And then he shows up. He shows up to the thing. And then here comes Seth and Leah. And I'm like, yeah, my two favorite wolves. Leah was kind of a bitch last time. But you know what? She's cool now. I kind of like her because she's kind of down to clown. I'm not gonna lie, like out of all the rest of the wolves, like I really dug those two, especially Seth from the earlier scenes.
Oh, I love Seth.
He
looks like a little coyote. Like when you look at his wolf, he looks like, you can tell he's just a little baby, but he's so cute.
And let's see, Edward. I'm just kind of just going through my notes here. We kind of talked about Edward not wanting this baby. Edward's really like, when we get back to the house, he's really kind of like, yo, we got to figure out how to get this thing out.
Yeah, because Carlisle's like, I can't see anything. I don't know. The embryo sac is crazy. And Alice is like, I can't see anything because it's this parasite's attached to you.
No, the fetus. She always
The
refers to it as the
baby.
fetus.
It's a baby, Alice. As Rosalie's over there, like, and everyone's like, we don't know what the fuck it is. This thing is actually the alien from Alien. That's what.
Not for much longer,
bro. Yeah, I think it was so sweet to have like the whole family and Jacob be like, all right, whatever, we're here. We're going to love on you. We're going to support you. Meanwhile, everyone's like famished and like, oop, I totally just threw my phone on Boo. I'm sorry, little guy.
Poor guy.
I like went to reposition myself and my phone just like straight up fell off my lap and he was like, hello? But yeah, like, you know, there's always been that thing where they're like, ew, it smells like dog in here and we can't stand Jacob. And Carlisle's like, I can stand him because I care about everyone. That's actually, I think that's actually Carlisle's thing, is like compassion. Like that's just like what his power is that he's just compassionate. So he's like, we should love Jacob. Jacob's like, I don't give a fuck about any of you weird bloodsuckers. I just want my bitch back. But, you know, the fact that he's over there like, I'm gonna keep her warm because, like, nobody else can. And I love her and whatever. I guess I'm part of this weird plan too. And then we get the fun to-go cup with the straw.
Oh, boy, that was...
Honestly, I kind of see it. Look, Chris was like, why would he make it with a straw? It's going to be so much worse. Because, you know, it's thicker than water. So it's going to come through a little weird. And I'm like, no, 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 no. I've become such a weird, like, straw girly. And I'm like, you put it in a straw, give me a little ice cubes in there. I'm going to pretend it's some coffee.
So,
but I think that was interesting choice to be like, we're going to put it in a cup so nobody can see it. But you'll see the residue on her mouth and stuff.
Right. Now, this is one of those points where I will really want to compliment like the practical effects of this whole thing, where the makeup they use to make Bella look like gaunt and sickly and just all of that, and when she takes the sip of that blood through the straw and she's got blood all on her teeth, and she's like, it tastes good. I'm like, that is the scariest part of this entire franchise thus far. It was wild looking.
Thus far. Just you wait until we see that baby next round. God.
Oh boy. You mean in like 15 minutes when we see? Hold on. I mean, nope. We are not there yet. I refuse to jump ahead.
Okay. Well, I was just going to say, you're not wrong, but I'm really talking about the next movie. But anyways.
I can't wait.
Man, that's a jump scare.
All right. Here's my favorite part of this whole franchise. God.
God.
The moment that I've been waiting for since we started this was the baby naming scene.
Man, oh man.
You know how I feel about this. I will tell the story so everyone knows it now, but when I listen to the books, and I really genuinely have no idea why I remember this as such a core memory, I guess because it was just such the wildest thing that I've heard in this moment. And even in the movie, during the naming scene, she goes, oh, well, if it's a boy, we're going to name it Edward Jacob. And
EJ.
And they're like, oh, well, that's not terrible, I guess, you know? And if it's a girl, and Rosalie's back there with this smirk on her face, she's like, it's not that bad. Yes, it is. Yes, it clearly is. But I remember that I was driving around Valdosta, Georgia, specifically through a local college down there, not Valdosta State, like a little community college. I can't remember what exactly I was doing, but I remember I was driving through the parking lot, and I it was that part of the book where it's like, well, if it's a girl, I wanted to do something with our mother's name. My mom's name is Renee, and your mom's name is Esme, so I wanted to call it Renesmee. And I remember laughing so hard that I had to pause the book, and I had to like pull over to the side of the road. Luckily, I was in a parking lot, but I pulled over in a spot and just laughed like an idiot for like 5 minutes. I was like, that is not real. She did, like, this kid's name is not going to be Renesmee.
You know, when you're 18, you make the wildest decisions.
I mean, I could
Also,
not believe. Go ahead.
No, I mean, yeah, no, I totally get what you're saying, because it's like definitely a wild name. But Chris was like, what about Edward's real mom? And I was like, shh, she don't exist. She did. It's okay. Maybe Edward doesn't remember her name. And that's why we're over here using Esme as surrogate mother. But, like, I looked at Chris and I was like, how many babies do you think were named Renesmee after this movie came out? And he was like, fuck.
Oh, hold on a second. Oh,
because
man.
that happens. Where big, like, book series or something happens. I don't know if you've heard of the series A Court of Thorns and Roses. That one definitely has some wild names. It's definitely just like fairy porn. But I was like, I have already heard people naming their kids or like pets that they get after these like fantasy characters and stuff, and I'm just like, man, oh man, there's a Renesmee out there. There's more than one. You cannot convince me otherwise.
Okay, so here's a very quick what I was able to pull.
Did you look up?
Yes, I did. So, while the name has never ranked among the top 1,000 baby names for newborn girls in the United States, the name has seen steady usage for American girls since 2009, the year it was first given to 5 or more girls born that year. There were 165 newborn American girls given that name in 2022, and 136 given it in 2023.
Damn.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's so good.
I'm going to have to do some
that's so fun.
A deeper dive on this and see if I can find this, because I feel like that's one of those names that if I ever saw it in public, I would have to excuse myself from the situation.
Just take deep breaths. You're over there like, this shit ain't real. Oh, yeah. No, that's so funny. You'd be over there having the exact same, like, facial reaction as Jacob, trying to be like, yeah, okay. Because even Edward's in the back, like, smirking. Because he's probably reading Jacob's mind of just like, what the fuck kind of ass name is this? You know, the fact that she did Renee and Esme, what about Carlisle and Charlie? So I looked at Chris and I said, Charslisle? It was so stupid.
That's my favorite Pokemon.
Dude, for real. Let's see. What would it be? It would be,
No, you could still probably do Carlisle, just like it would be spell honked up, but it would be like Charlisle or Carly.
It's gotta look weird. Yeah, absolutely. But now I'm trying to think of what kind of Pokemon it would be. It'd probably be Steel, that it can shoot bullets somehow.
What, a Charlisle?
Yeah.
No, that's clearly a fire Pokemon. You can't have something char.
I know you think so. Dude, have you seen the shit they be doing with Pokemon lately?
You know, I'm currently playing Pokemon Violet, and yes, I do see the nonsense they're doing.
I'm trying to be, maybe it'd be like a happening or something like that where it takes care of you. But that'd be a normal. Hmm. I don't know about, oh, psychic? No.
Mm.
No, 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 no. He's not psychic.
I mean, I can go with the fire steel
Okay,
type.
yeah. Okay, fine. We'll have that. Anyways, we just created your next Pokemon. You're welcome.
Yeah, you are welcome, Nintendo. You holla at your boy.
Give us that money. What's up?
So, all right. So, right after we do the naming scene, we get into the birth scene.
Hey, first of all, she dropped that cup. And that back
the
break.
slowest of motions.
Ooh, that back break, man. Absolutely not.
And I wrote in my notes, oh boy, how are we going to do this? Because I've been waiting for this part too.
Gone. Go for it.
This is another one of those things in the movie, or excuse me, in the books, where I'd kind of heard about it, but I am like, because the book is told from a first-person perspective. So, I can't remember whose perspective we get when the book, or when she's giving birth, but when they're talking about like, oh yes, hold on a second, I have to eat the baby out. And you're like, hold up, homie. Wait a second. What are we talking about here? It is fucking wild. So that happened again. This is one of those things where I'm listening to it like, I don't even know what the hell I'm listening to anymore. Like, this is the craziest thing. And I didn't know how we were going to see it. I don't feel like I was let down at all. This is exactly the way I would expect a PG-13. Like, hey, we're going to eat this baby out of this lady's stomach.
You got to get it out that sack, dog.
Yeah. And then they just have a huge syringe of Edward's venom, like vampire turning juice, just laying around. It was a big syringe. How did they get it? Is there venom sacks? Do they do like a snake where they put like a rubber band or a rubber thing over a wine glass and like, here, just bite into this?
That's kind of, I was like, they bite into a towel, then you wring it out, something like that. Also, we got to talk about the fact that, all right, so there's no doctors here. There's not, that motherly figure to be there to like help out. It's Alice, Rosalie, Jacob, and Edward. And Rosalie said, I got, frick, why can't I think of the thing? The little cutty thing. And she says,
oh, the scalpel.
Yes. So she cuts through, scalpel. She sees her hand, and the way that Jacob just goes, Rosalie, and just attacks her. Man, that kind of felt like some Fast and Furious shit right there. Of like, I got it! Jump. Do the most crazy bit possible. And so then it's just Jacob and Edward trying to be like, yo, what the fuck are we supposed to do right now? This is crazy. But yeah, no, him biting that baby out, and then that big ass syringe. It hurts anytime I still watch this movie, and I watch him go kaplunk and shove that thing into her. No, absolutely not. You can miss me with that shit. And then he just starts biting her all over because he's like, fuck, I'm about to lose my wife. But at least he was like, he pulls that baby out, he's like, it's Renesmee. Meanwhile, Bella's literally looking like an absolute, like, corpse that has been just sitting there for, like, months, Mm-hmm. She looks awful. Good
she
God.
Does.
That poor kid. And then Jacob really just tells this man, you gotta live with the guilt. Fuck you, I ain't killing your ass. You just destroyed the most wonderful thing ever. And then he goes outside and sobs. And Seth goes, she didn't make it. Just the way that he did that. Like, I definitely laughed. I don't know if you've heard the jokes of, like, I'm an empath, so I can sense these things. But I said that to Chris. I was like, I'm an empath. I can tell she died.
And they, oh, hold on a second.
So
Edward was
sorry.
doing the absolute slowest CPR too. Like, they
Yeah.
were doing dramatic CPR. Edward, this man can move fast from room to room when it's time to pack to go back home because he don't want to be no daddy, but he's trying to save his wife, and he's sir, that's
Bro,
too
if
slow.
If he goes, one, not a doctor. Also, I'm just now thinking about, like, how does Carlisle do this shit? How does he work with patients and have to, like, resuscitate them, but not crush their ass? So that's, like, another thing, is they have such, superhuman strength. But so maybe he's like, I can't push too crazy hard, otherwise this bitch she ain't gonna have no heart. It's gonna be gone.
Well.
But yeah, that was a wild scene.
And then we get another Fast and Furious crossover. Did you see it? When we did the inside the car shot,
Oh
when
my
her
God,
blood
yes.
is getting all nitrous boosted.
Bro, all that NOS was crazy
Dude.
in there.
Dude.
Really revved her engine. I'm so sorry. That was so awful.
Don't apologize for that. Don't you dare.
Watching the actual, like, scene where her hair, like, she starts to look healthy again, and her hair starts changing from that dull, ugly, mousy brown to, like, her beautiful, long locks, and it looks full and healthy, and then her chest just pops back up.
Yeah. Yep.
It cracked me up.
So, Jacob
was about to go get rid of that thing.
Yeah,
said,
he was.
Fuck Renesmee. Let me go take care of it. And Rosalie's sitting there, and she's just, I don't know if she knows that Jacob's coming at her. She's not doing shit. She is full up in that baby mode. She lifts that little thing, and Jacob locks eyes with it, and that's it. The rest is history. It's just the two of them. This is why he was so into Bella. Because she was gonna birth the most beautiful little baby ever. While I'm 16 or 17 years old. Can't wait to marry this girl. Crazy. Bro.
Okay. So now here's my hot take for this entire franchise that I've been sitting on for this whole series. And this is the thing that I will stand all the way 10 toes down with. All right. First off, the reason that I think that this franchise is so successful is in the very first book, and I started listening to the first book again, and now that I know the secret of the sauce, it's even more apparent. Is Bella is written such a vague way that she is a proxy for any young female. Okay? It is she is very not descriptive about herself. Oh, I'm a little awkward. I don't dance real good. I'm kind of gangly, like I don't feel good in my own skin. Yeah, of course. I get it. Most teenagers are that way. But when it comes time to describe Edward, it's like, oh, Edward, he's so beautiful. He sparkles in the sunshine, and he does sparkly things, and he walks by, and the wind blows his dark brown hair and yellow eyes to the way that I've never seen any other man stand at 5'6" and 140 pounds. You know, like, it is wild.
Wait, does it actually say that he's 5'6"?
No.
Okay,
but
I was
it
about
is.
to be like,
it is.
That's crazy.
It is very descriptive. All the other characters are very descriptive. So,
well, of course.
But that is why it was so popular amongst his fan base. Now, I say that to say that if they would have explained, hey, we're gonna have to, or Jacob is going to imprint on a newborn and fall in love with a newborn, and right after they basically perform a vampire C-section on Bella, and go through all of this wildness, and we're going to name this baby this honked up name. If they would have done that in the first book, like laid the groundwork of like imprinting and all this other stuff, there's no way you can tell me that this series would have been as popular. They would have been like, no, this is weird. What? You can imprint on babies? What? No, that's gross. You know?
Right. Yeah.
Because even in the books, they make a note to say, oh, well, so-and-so imprinted on this other person when they were super young, when they were like 4 or 5 years old or something like that. And you're just supposed to be like, yep, it's cool. It was meant to be. And you're like, no, that's kind of fucking weird.
So true.
And I think like now that it's the end of the franchise, when they do this, they're just like, I mean, fuck, I gotta see where it goes, man. So, yeah. This is so wild to me. Plus, that baby was, ooh, boy. That baby. I'm looking forward. Boy, that CGI baby.
Oh, God.
I can't wait to see next week.
Can we just talk about the fact that Edward, because Jacob goes out there, he's like, you ain't touching this bitch. It's mine. I fucking own that thing for life. And Edward's just like, I am reading his mind currently, and this man just imprinted on my daughter. Versus when we head into the next movie, and you see Bella's reaction, it's crazy.
Oh, yeah,
It's such a crazy difference.
Oh, well, I mean, I remember from the books, like, Bella's reaction, and her reaction is absolutely justified. I hope it's the same as it is in the books. It sounds like it is. But
Edward
yes.
was just like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, like, no, it's cool.
Dude, you're also into younger chicks? What's up?
Yeah. And it's so weird that in a world with vampires and werewolves and all of this other nonsense that happens, imprinting is like the one thing where I'm like, I don't know, dog.
This is a little crazy out here, but
yeah.
Sure, whatever. Yeah, yeah. I guess I'm with it. I don't know.
No.
Everyone else here cool with this? Just looking around the room like, I'm not the only one that thinks this is weird, right? All right.
And then the other wolves are like, it's cool, man. Like, we don't like it, but we gotta we respect it. And
Dude,
then
for real.
And then they walk off. And then Bella gets all better. She opens her eyes and credits.
The bright reds, as the whole family's just like, it's very interesting because they're like, listen for the heartbeat. I'm like, what fucking heartbeat? She does not look good. What are y'all talking about? And then she just starts looking good, and then she just, bam. That mascara with the naturally eyeshadowed, beautifully face. Crazy. You become a vampire and you literally look good for life. Insane. I hate it here. That's all I need. But yeah, Breaking Dawn Part 1.
It's wild. It's wild. I watched it and then I texted you guys and was like, man, I don't even know what to make of this movie. So, and then, have you guys watched Part 2 yet?
No. We'll watch it sometime this week, but Chris's work schedule's been so crazy and he's been wanting to watch them with me. Because Chris and I have been together for 7 years, and I kept being like, are you ever going to watch Twilight with me? And he's like, no, fuck Twilight. And now he's like, fine, I'll watch Twilight with you. Because him and I watched all the Fast and Furious movies together. So I was like, hell yeah. And the whole time he kept trying to be like, asking me questions, and I was like, shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up. It's the end of the movie. You gotta watch all this shit. It's crazy. Sure, I'm still gonna make jokes, but like, stop trying to ask me questions. You can ask me questions after the movie. I'm sorry. Because he's like, I just need confirmation and information about some of this weird shit. And I was like, I know, man. Me too. Hold on. But yeah.
Well, I look forward to next week. I think it's going to be fun. Because let's see. If memory serves me right, we start figuring out what Bella's vampires' powers are going to be. There's a big battle with the Volturi.
Did you see the end credit scene?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah. So I know the Volturi's coming back, which is great. I like them.
That's Carlisle with an S.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's right.
And she's bad at grammar.
Yeah. Poor girl.
Fucking Volturi out here. They crazy. I love it. And they don't know that there's a baby. Crazy. But yeah. Next week's gonna be a wild ride that we're gonna put to park at the end. It all comes back to family. When you're here, you're family. So sorry.
Nope.
Thank God.
I love that the Fast and Furious movies have infected your brain so much.
Oh, they absolutely have.
More so than just about anything. Like, I'm glad that those movies have like come along at a time in your life when like you can't hear family the same way now.
I freaking can. Chris, I can't look at Corona without just being like, all right.
Chris has done started his own Drift King LLC, DK Productions.
Dude, that freaking license plate that Chris sent you a picture of, I was in the middle of, like, we were going somewhere, I was talking to him, and I go, hold on. Do you see that license plate cover on there? And him, I just, like, started busting out laughing. He's like, I gotta get a picture of it for Mark. Oh, so good. But no, everywhere I look now, it's Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah. All right, well let's move on to our next part of the podcast. My favorite part of every week, where we talk about little things that has made us happy the previous week, the little things we're thankful for. Raven, why don't you tell me what has made you happy this week?
Trying to think of what I did this week. It's been, like I said, it was a busy week. I've gotten to spend quite a bit of time with my mom because she's actually in town watching my aunt and uncle's dogs while they're on a nice little cruise to Alaska. So that's actually really nice that I get to spend some time with her. But I don't know if I mentioned it last week, but I went and painted pottery with some friends. Like, they're literally Chris's coworkers, and I was like, hey guys, let's go paint pottery. And I picked up our pottery yesterday, and it literally is so cute. I did like a little calico cat, but in like Halloween colors. So it's like a white base with some orange and purple and black spots, and I gave it this little skeletonized fish, and it just looks so cute. And it literally has just made like my whole week just like, oh, it looks so cute. But yeah, that's what's made me the happiest this week is my silly little cat.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Chris was like, yo, you're getting really good at that, like, just painting stuff. And I was like, bro, this is the second time I've been in like 20 years. I don't know, man. But yeah, what about you? What's made you happy this week?
So Amy, we were doing something this week, and Amy got in the car. We were talking about a guy at work, one of my friends from work, named Jason. And it's important to note that Jason is a black man. And last Christmas time, when I was off from work and the kids were off from school, I took the girls up to the office so they could meet all of the people that I come home and constantly talk about. I'm like, oh, here's Jason and Simon and all the people I work with. And of course they just fell in with everybody. And someone gave or brought Jason a bar of dark chocolate. And we're all like, ugh, dark chocolate. That's gross. So this week, Amy says, is Jason the one that likes dark chocolate? And I go, yeah. She goes, when you walk into work, you need to go up to him and call him dark chocolate. And I said, baby,
oh, baby.
I am absolutely not calling that man dark chocolate because I swear to God, no, I am not calling him dark chocolate. She's like, no, because he likes dark chocolate. Because, of course, she doesn't know. And I am over there trying to figure out how I can explain to a 10-year-old, like, no, baby, I cannot call this black man dark chocolate.
Sweetie, we can't just be saying that. You're too white. It's okay, baby girl.
So the thing that I ended up kind of explaining to her, I said, well, back in the day, because, some people would refer to black men in a romantic way and call them dark chocolate. She was like, oh, okay. All right. I understand. And I was like, cool. That's good enough. I was like, please, under absolutely no circumstances, if I bring you to work, are you to walk up to this man and call him dark chocolate? Please, under no circumstances are you supposed to do that. And she was like, okay. And I went to work and told Jason, and I was almost to the point of tears telling him that because he, of course, he thought it was hilarious.
Oh, of course, yeah.
She's going to forget, and she's going to walk in and be like, oh, what's up, dark chocolate? And then I'm going to lose my mind.
Man, oh, man.
So,
bless her. Ah, the innocence of being a child. Where you can just say shit. It's like when kids, they of course always point out the worst insecurity of your life. Where they're like, you got some bad acne. This happened to me and my best friend one time where her younger cousin was at her grandmother's and we went over there and my best friend really struggled with cystic acne for a long time until she got on Accutane. But this little girl at 3 or 4 years old really just looked at her and was like, what's wrong with your face? And we talk about it still all the time. So my best friend was just like, I'm sick. And the girl was just like, ugh, get away from me. To be a kid and just say the most outlandish,
I know, right?
uncensored version of anything is just I don't ever want kids, but I enjoy hearing the things that people's kids say. It is the best part of anything, period. Man. So thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. So, all right, Raven, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you on the social medias?
If you're on the social media of Instagram, I am That's So Raven Ellis. Or if you hang out on the Twitterverse, you can find me at spooky_Raven. If you like this cute little podcast, you can also find us on whatever platform you're probably looking. We probably hang out there. Just look up Nerd for No Reason. Find us. Say hey. Do some crazy stuff. You can post some crazy stuff at us. We'll probably laugh. I don't know.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah. Make a Fast and Furious joke. It's not hard for us. What about you, Mark? Where are you at?
You can find me on all the social medias at Turtles Do It. And, I just want to say thanks to everybody for listening. It's truly, I know I say this every week, but this is part of my favorite time every week to sit down and talk about movies I've watched. And just talk about my week, and it's a great, because we record on Sunday, and it's a great little decompression time for me. And thank you, Raven, for entertaining me, as it were, to continue doing this podcast, because we're coming up on our 2-year mark. What?
Crazy.
We are less than a month away from doing this thing for 2 years, which is wild to me.
Who are we?
I know.
Where am I?
So we are
Nice.
83 episodes in the can, and I love it. It's great. So, all right.
Great. I'd love to hear that.
Everybody, thanks for listening. Go and do something wonderful in the world this week.
You guys go ingest all the coolest, newest, latest medias, and we'll see you around next time on the Nerd for No Reason podcast.
That's that song they play in the Twilight movies. Yeah.
They can't copyright us on
No,
that.
they can't.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to the Nerd for No Reason podcast. You can find us on all major social media platforms at Nerd for No Reason. Our podcast music is Memories in 8-Bit by Deanna Joan, aka Fergie's Human. You can follow her on Twitter at Deanna Joan Music and check out her other social media links in the show notes of our podcast.